You sense that with your loved one, with the person in front of you. There's something hidden, some secret, something lying dormant that he or she isn't saying, but you can feel very clearly that there's something more behind it, something that's blocking him or her. There's something there, and you notice there's also some kind of inhibition or barrier, whether it was when you were in a relationship during the getting to know each other phase, in a friendship, right? No matter what it was or how you were in contact, you feel that there's still something hidden, something he just doesn't want to talk about. But you also sense that there's something there. He might be on the verge of revealing something, but then whoosh, he withdraws again because it means something, because it makes him act more reserved toward you, like maybe even pull back bites. And he always seems so blocked. And that's what we're going to look at now. We're tapping into the energy, the most present energy that wants to reveal itself right now. And we are collective. The person cards are gender neutral, and the collective reading can't apply to everyone, but I know you always adapt it to your own situation absolutely wonderfully. And pick out exactly what resonates with you. I always like to call it your puzzle piece. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your presence. Thank you for being here. And thank you again for your wonderful comments. You are simply enchanting. So now I'd say let's take a look. What's really going on there? So what's happening there? Let's see. Something is hidden beneath the surface. So this is already very much about feelings. This is very strongly about emotions. We have the Eight of Cups, and with that, there's this sense of powerlessness, because he is stubbornly holding on to something. And there is also a strong sense of disappointment and uncertainty here. And there is a burden weighing on his heart. This emotional burden, this uncertainty. And he keeps running away because this has to do with feelings, with emotions. And a major theme, disappointment. And even if he always withdraws from you, there's a sense of melancholy in what he does. Because basically, he's always a bit aimless as well. And this sense of powerlessness keeps clinging to something over and over again. So there's something there that's really weighing on his mind. So let's take a look at what else is revealed here in more detail. So now we have the cups again. So, okay. So we have the Nine of Cups. So once again, emotions. And for the person close to your heart, the longing is directed inward. It's about fulfillment within you. He also regrets something. And basically, he is completely frustrated inside. I sense the frustration in him or her. Now, we are in the energy directed towards you. But there's also something where he or she is always wavering back and forth. That's your warmth. It's this goodness, what you give, and he or she feels comfortable. But he is still inhibited, unable to let himself go, because there is something he's struggling with that has to do with this sense of comfort, with letting go, because he is definitely not satisfied, but he wants to find satisfaction and fulfillment because something is really stirring deep inside him or her. And yes, let's take a closer look at what else is revealed here, because the Nine of Cups, actually everything fits. Everything is there, only the 10th cup is missing. And the 10th cup is what keeps holding him back again and again, which must be a very big issue for him, preventing him from reaching fulfillment, because in fact, everything else is already there. We have love, the connection, this sense of comfort, bekannt with you, being with you. Everything is there. And there's something hidden here as well. There's a secret, and it definitely has to do with you. And that weighs heavily on his or her heart. And now we have the Hermit again. So, and there, okay. That's this silence because he is so searching. He's looking for something, also likes to isolate himself, keeps withdrawing again and again. And here it's about disappointment. And again, we see this aimlessness in him because basically it's also about standing by each other and mom. And that's where he's a bit stuck. We see that here in The Secret. And there's something really quite powerful slumbering within him or her. Because actually everything is there. Everything actually fits. But this secret that he's hiding here, and we'll take a look at that. What would you like to say to each other? Well, let me put it this way. Fulfillment is a really big issue for your special someone. Because, all right, then let's just take that one. I sense a lot of insecurity in him or her, a restlessness, this uncertainty, this constant blockage. And this aimlessness is being shown here very, very clearly. I actually see him filled with sadness. I see him sad. I see him truly, completely desperate. And the love he has for you is unmistakable. It's clear. We can clearly see that the love is there. But these doubts about himself, his secret, that's what I also I keep seeing that lie, the dishonesty. These are his fears that something here will go wrong. Above all, what I see as a major issue is the fear of being abandoned. That's a big issue. I see very strong fears of loss in him. He also sees himself as someone who might not be able to have a real relationship. With him, I see an issue that has to do with the past. So I can already see it here in this area. It goes way back. Let me put it this way. It even goes a bit back to his childhood. Back then, he was always clinging as well. I see that he wasn't seen here, that he always had to do everything right. That's something he might not talk about. He always shows something different to the outside world or to others, not just to you. I see it generally on the outside in his environment. The entertainer, pure entertainment. Hey, no, I've got everything under control. No, everything's working out. No, things like that don't bother me. No, it doesn't bother me. Statements like that. But basically, that's just a facade for the outside world, so that no one notices how desperate he actually is and how deeply he's caught up in the pain of not wanting to be disappointed. And he also doesn't show when he's disappointed. Sometimes I see a brief reaction from him, like, yeah, boom, and then he's totally offended and sulky, and you wonder, what just happened now? But that's a secret he keeps. That's what lies dormant inside him. That's why he shows you these mountains on the outside. Doesn't have it at all, because I saw him as completely lost in his self-confidence. On the outside, that's what he shows you. He keeps withdrawing again and again, or has repeatedly withdrawn. For that reason, very abruptly, very quickly, because he wanted to avoid it. Maybe because he didn't know how to argue, or because you might ask too many questions or ask something. So you shouldn't be intrusive towards yourself, absolutely not. I can only tell you his perspective because he feels incredibly comfortable with you. Those are the feelings of happiness. He knows you are the perfect counterpart. But what lies dormant within him is this secret he has. What he experienced in his past. That's what keeps coming up. It's been pushed aside for now. And above all, he doesn't want to show you completely how vulnerable he or she actually is. And with him or her, I see the theme, I can handle everything on my own. He doesn't need any help, doesn't accept any help, rejects everything completely. Any offer of help is met with, no, I can handle it on my own. No, I'll sort it out myself. No, I'll do it alone. And that's also because he has an issue with showing this weakness. That's his secret. He must not show any weakness. And here we are, again, back to childhood. So childhood, adolescence, I can't tell you the exact age here. And it's always the same thing. He was always treated rather forcefully or coldly, whether it was friends or family. As I said, we're talking about the collective here. And there was always this being pushed away, and he always did everything he could. He was always running nonstop. Hey, look what I did, or look at me, you know? Or, yes, this thing where he wasn't seen, kept being overlooked, you know, pushed aside, betrayed. Those are the kinds of issues I see with him. And because of that, he closed himself off more and more. And that also led to him developing this intense fear of loss. He holds on endlessly. And this inhibition, this aimlessness, because he has no idea how to really approach it. He feels, and that is also the secret, that he feels and knows you are absolutely perfect for him or her. The absolutely perfect counterpart. It couldn't be more perfect. The affection, this depth, even if he always told you, no, there's no love here. No, we're just friends. No, it's just an 11 plus, no matter what area it's in. That's not true. He only holds on to that because he's tense, always uptight, and can't completely let go. And then whoosh, he withdraws again and again. It can happen very quickly too. I have seen him, yes, in this light, in this thawing out mode, because he senses that something is seriously wrong here. He doesn't feel comfortable at all anymore. And what I really notice with him is this heavy heart. That's it. This fear of being hurt, this fear of being disappointed. These are always memories again and again of the past. These are the issues, these are situations that he or she has gone through. And because of that, he's very insecure, because he feels like he's actually doing everything wrong. And he is extremely focused on the outside, on how he is seen by others, on doing everything right, on looking good, on receiving recognition. And that's what keeps him going out, I would say, because he always seeks validation from the outside. He doesn't get validation from within himself by saying that, hey, I know what I can do. I know who I am. He always needs validation from the outside, how he is perceived by others. And the other secret, even if he told you, okay, I no longer have any contact with this person, whether it's an ex-relationship or something like that, that doesn't mean that he still loves that person or wants anything else with them. No, it's simply that if he told you, no, I'm so cold and now there's no more contact, and so on. He says that just so he looks great here, you know, he has everything under control, but deep down, he's actually very, very small because the contact, that's actually not true at all. And I can see that clearly in the lies because he keeps coming back into this area, wanting to be seen in a good light. You don't need to be at odds with anyone. And if there's an argument, oh God, make everything right again, always trying to make amends. I always have him completely caught up in this sense of obligation, in commitment, in responsibility. Feelings of guilt, to put it better. I have him completely wrapped up in guilt. And that's actually his big issue. That this isn't true either. As I said, this doesn't mean that he's somehow keeping this person as a backup or anything like that. No, absolutely not. It's just that because as cool as he acts and as tough as he seems, he's really not like that at all. No. For him, it's a huge problem to be in conflict with someone, to not be seen in a good light. And always this thing that he basically has to be the good guy, always coming across as great, that everyone likes him, that everyone likes him and speaks well of him. Even if he tells you the complete opposite. I don't care what others think of me. No, that's a total lie. That's his secret, that he doesn't show it, that it's really like that. And also with you, when you were in a relationship, he didn't make it completely public, nor when you were together. He didn't make it completely public. He always kept that a secret here. It was only within a certain circle, a certain group. Maybe they knew, but not everyone. I always saw him being reserved about it, even though he might have told you, no, everyone knows about it. And there I really have a little rascal here, you know. But it's not that I want to blame him. After this collective reading, I feel I have to protect him a little because it really is his issue. I see him as so torn, so broken, yes, I see him full of worry and also full of disappointment. I can really feel his pain because nothing is working out. and he's constantly running on empty. I see him here, completely drained of energy. And then, on top of that, there's this. The feelings for you are still there. And there's this fear. If you find out what's really going on, how will you see him? Will you see him as a little child? Do you see him as a teenager? As if he would somehow lose his dignity, that masculinity he always showed. And that's his secret. Because I have completely torn him apart. I see him completely, utterly full of pain, really, and also his childhood. If I go further back, he kept trying to make everything right again, you know? He did everything for everyone, you know? He's also not the type who, when he says no, I say no, and that's how it stays. I don't see him here as someone who says no. No. Maybe he says no at first, but then he does it anyway, so that he's seen in a good light again, so that he gets recognition. That's what I see here as a major theme for him or for her. And as I said, I actually see him full of worries and completely weighed down by this pressure that has built up here. And as I said, his thoughts are with you. He knows what went wrong. He knows it. And the love is still there. And the love, that's also the reason why he actually didn't want to allow himself to open his heart so much. Because his heart is heavy from the past. He was, this hurt that I have, this disappointment. I see betrayal here. I see deceit. I keep seeing things like this, especially within the family circle. Also in the surrounding environment, you know? So, you know, collective, right? I keep repeating myself. And here I have this. The heart is so heavy, which is also what he feels now. Because he can't. It's as if he can't live it. He's afraid to open his heart completely. That's his issue. And there he's completely insecure, restless. I see him lying there nervously. I also see with him or her the same thing at night, this restless sleeping, maybe waking up often during the night, you know, especially maybe before he or she can even fall asleep. I see him very, very restless, especially as things quiet down in the evening hours. And as I said, I see you intensely in his or her thoughts. And what is shown here, you know, I always say everything the cards reveal. What is also clearly shown here, which actually has nothing to do with the question, but it is being shown, it wants to be seen, is that he also has communication with you in his thoughts. He is already lost in the past, in memories with you, how you were in contact, how you laughed together, the things you did, you know, the fun you had together. And yes, above all, your warmth, your kindness. That means a lot to him, and now it's really reaching him. And in his thoughts, he wants to get in touch with you. That's what's here. That's what he wants to show now. And as I said, I never hide anything, no matter whether it fits the topic right now or not, you know? I always say everything that is shown here. So now let's take a look at how things will continue here. So I'll say right away, we're really in the realm of magic here, you know? We have the magician here, and that also shows that there really is magic in this connection between the two of you. And his inner voice is also telling him, become more active, focus on yourself. That is his inner voice. And he is becoming more and more mindful. And yes, this self-confidence is a major topic, especially what I find fantastic here. Here, this self-confidence is a really big issue for him. But the fact that he is making a move here, because I see the transformation, the change, the biggest change, where I always wonder, what is right, what is wrong? But there we have it. He feels that things can't go on like this. And there is this hesitation, maybe still a bit aimless, because there is still manipulation from the outside showing up again and again, as is evident here once more. And now it's really the case that he increasingly has this drive, this will to step into self-confidence and take action. And taking action means taking action toward change for himself, for his self-confidence, and also taking action, as we saw earlier, toward making contact with you, right? Because somehow he wants to tell you everything. He wants to. That's what's been lying dormant inside him for a long time. Because he knows he can tell you. He just always lacked the courage to say to you, hey, listen, you know, this and that is going on, and that's my issue, right? That he actually feels that he can show himself to you completely as he really is. And you won't just treat him like a little child, right? So, and now we have feelings again. So it's a very emotional reading. We have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups, I just find it so fantastic. Here we really have this loving energy and this willingness to reach out. He also wants to reach out to you. Maybe he never really reached out to you before, but that's what's on his mind. And always, because he kept showing this coldness, these doubts. But it's also like this. This uncertainty is dissolving here as well, especially because this curiosity is coming in more. The curiosity about something new, about change. Because this heaviness that he carries, he's actually been carrying it with him his whole life. You know? And he wants to break free from this heaviness. And now he's becoming curious about this change because he feels there's more. He's moving more and more towards love. And he also hopes for a reconciliation with you. And he also feels, well, he doesn't perceive it so consciously, but this emotional closeness, he still feels connected to you. No matter how long this connection, the relationship, or the contact has lasted. That's what his inner self is telling me. Dear ones, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and wish you a wonderfully beautiful rest of your day. Goodbye.